Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Albion Obsessed Podcast. You join us for our post-Leeds analysis. We went to Elland Road. We should have won, but we didn't. We came home with just a point. Lots to chat about today, including some stuff about yellow kits. I'm going to do some maths, and we're going to talk to Chloe about wearing a big curly wig. But before we get on to any of that, let's chat. Let's see who we've got on today. Joe, you're turning your house upside down. How are you?
Tired. But yeah, we're getting ready to move in a couple of weeks' time. So as you can imagine, it's all systems go. But yeah, other than that, quite good, mate. How are you?
I am decent. I'm feeling very tired, I must admit. I feel really exhausted today. Must be the dad life catching up on me. But anyway, less about me, more about you guys, because you're far more interesting than me. Chloe, you went to Yorkshire yesterday. How are you feeling after your travels?
I'm good. It was a bit disappointing in the end, but it was still a decent day out. We had a lot of fun with our wigs and everything. So yeah.
Good skills. And we also welcome Dan back to the show. Dan, how are you, mate?
I'm all good, mate. Thanks. Looking forward to chatting about this game.
Yeah, there's a lot to chat about when we play Leeds. And I know some of you are dying to say certain things about certain things. Before we get into the game proper, we're just going to talk about yellow kits. As you can see, surrounded by a bit of yellow, or if you can't see, if you're an audio listener, I am currently wearing the Volt shirt. And behind me, I also have the yellow skin shirt and the American Express shirt that Joe wore when he scored that famous header. And Joe also has his yellow shirt, as does Dan. But let's talk about yellow shirts then, guys. We were led to believe a few weeks ago that we had played our final game in this dreaded yellow shirt that has only seen one victory, which was against West Brom. The Albion announced on socials midweek that we'd be playing Leeds in the yellow shirt. And of course, the Albion fans were not very impressed. Joe, how did you feel when the news came out that we were going to be playing in yellow instead of Hyper Turk?
I've never been more gutted in my life, Tom. From that moment, I knew we weren't going to win that game. And the more the game went on, yesterday. Yeah, it was yesterday. It confuses me because we kicked off on Sunday. It's really weird. But yeah, the more it went on, I was thinking, hold on a minute. We could break the curse in our final away game of the season. But of course, the curse of the shirt continues. There was that whole conspiracy whether the admin, because we all know what the admin's like. He likes a little bit of a joke. Whether maybe he tweeted that and we were going to unveil a new away kit, maybe. But obviously that didn't come true. And we had to play the game in this monstrous thing. So yeah, that's what happened.
I feel really sorry for that shirt because I think I've said it before on the pod. Aesthetically, I like it. It's a proper throwback to the British Caledonian 1980-1981 shirt, I believe. And I really like it, what it looks like. It's just a shame that we've never won a game in the league with it. Chloe, yellow kits. Do you believe in curses, Chloe? Because this yellow kit, surely it is cursed.
I feel like psychologically it probably doesn't help. Whether there's believing in a curse can be just as powerful as an actual curse if they do exist. Because you're thinking, we've never won in this. We're not going to win. And I think that can just throw players off their game if they're aware of that. So I'm glad we're not going to wear it again.
Definitely. And I'm going to come back to that psychological point in a minute. Dan, why do you think we wore yellow instead of Hyper Turk?
Honestly, I can't think of the reason why. Because I saw a point that we played Spurs in Hyper Turk, being obviously they both play in white. So I'm not sure why. But it was a shock to see it come back out again after they said it was basically gone. So I like everyone else thought hopefully this is a ploy to say, oh yeah, look at our new away kit. That's really hopeful. But then when I saw the official Premier League they do like a little video thing about who everyone plays in. I saw the dreaded shirt. I was like, oh no, we're definitely playing that now. But I'm so glad that's it of it now.
See, I'm not a superstitious man at all. Well, I wasn't until now. But just coming back to the point that Chloe made about the psychology behind it. So I've got three theories. My first one is quite simply that we were asked to play in yellow because of colourblind fans not being able to distinguish between the two kits. Maybe Hyper-Turk and white would be difficult. I'm not colourblind, so I can't say for a fact, but that's my first theory. Second is going back to that psychological point that Chloe mentioned. I wouldn't put it past them for Leeds, who are in desperate need of points, to request, don't know if they've got the power to do that, but to request that we wear the yellow instead of Hyper-Turk because of a clash, full well knowing that we've never won a game in that shirt. So there's always behind that. And my third one is purely from a financial point of view. The club just wanted to flog more yellow shirts at full price before they eventually come down in the sale in the summer. So they're my three theories. I'm more inclined to believe theory number one, that it's a kit clash because of colourblind fans. However, if you are in the know, please drop us a comment and let us know one way or the other. So let's chat about the game then, Joe. Joe, we went to Leeds United, who, as I say, were in desperate need of points. They're there or thereabouts with the bottom. But it didn't start particularly well. Leeds had a very, very early corner. And it almost was a disastrous start for us, was it not?
I think we're just very lucky that they're crap. Say that we haven't beaten them this season, so they can come to us and go, well, if we're that crap, why can't you beat us? But at the Amex, we played them off the park, but it was just that age-old thing where we can't score our chances. Seems to be the thing under Graham Potter. And yeah, as you say, it was a bit of a rough start, and I think it was a Leeds player that actually blocked the shot on the line. So yeah, a bit fortuitous, if that's the right word. But yeah, after that, we seem to sort of get a grip a little bit and find some space. And I think any team that plays against Leeds is just going to find all those spaces behind their back. It looked like a back two at times. It was really weird. And it just looked like we could just exploit that. And as you said in the group chat, Tom, I just don't see why we couldn't score more against that side, because with the likes of Trossard, Welbeck, Solly March running through, even Pascal Gross had a couple of through balls that didn't quite make it. Caicedo, Bissouma, we got so much power going forward. I really don't get why we didn't exploit that some more.
Yeah, it was a team. We played against a team that ship goals for fun. But similar to when we've played Norwich this season, for some reason, whatever, we come across these teams who are down the bottom. We just can't seem to capitalize against that. Yet we play teams like Man United and we score 4. Tis the Brighton way. Chloe, you were there. You were in that away end. Before we get your views on some of what happened in the game, I just want to ask a quick question about the atmosphere and the wigs. Because Brighton fans donned black curly wigs to celebrate the player of the season, Mark Cucurella, with a majority of fans in wigged appearance.
There was quite a few. I wouldn't, probably about 50% maybe, which it looks cool. It's like as soon as I got up onto the concourse, I was a bit nervous because I was like, I'm wearing this strange wig, but then just there was like a whole group of people wearing them, and I was like, okay, I don't look weird. This is good. I'm glad other people are wearing them. Yeah, the atmosphere was good. It is quite hard to actually create an atmosphere at Leeds because they are so loud. Like, I don't like Leeds, so I don't like praising them, but their fans are very loud. So there were times it was actually quite hard to, from where I was, hear the sort of singing section, so I couldn't sing along. But it was a good atmosphere actually. Yeah, and it was nice to sing the new Caicedo song because I didn't manage to figure the lyrics out of the United game, so it was nice to get to sing that one. So yeah, it was a great day out.
I'm really glad to hear that. Leeds fans, loud in person and even louder on the internet. And I'm sure Joe will shed some light on that a bit later. Dan, talking of atmosphere, I think, as Joe's already alluded to, Brighton gave us fans quite a lot to get excited about, especially during that first half. We seem to be creating chances at will. Leeds looked all over the place, and we had some fantastic chances. What did you make of that that first half performance from an attacking point of view?
It's the old Brighton thing. It's sort of like we create a lot of chances that just can't seem to get the ball in the net. Obviously, we did eventually. We did. Even after that, we still created and created more. But in an attacking sense, really, I can't fault them at all. Leeds just seem to open up for us very, very easily to get a chance on, and it basically we could have been. I would have. Would we be comfortable probably by half time? I'd imagine somewhere near. I think we should have been more up than one, but yeah, we tried our best. Maybe a little bit better we could have done, but as long as we went in that with that one goal, which we will talk about, it was all okay.
Yeah, it was. I've actually written down some of the chances we had in that first half, and as soon as you start writing them down, you realise just how many chances we had, and we're not talking about just like half chances either. We're talking about shots on target, really good chances to score. Caicedo had a shot saved. March dragged a shot wide when he really should have done better. McAllister had some shots saved. Gross shot straight at Meslier. McAllister headed the ball onto the roof of the net. McAllister headed wide. So we had loads and loads of chances, and for a while it did seem like it was, as you say, Joe, the Brighton of old, creating hatfuls of chances, just unable to capitalise. Until that is, Welbeck gave Brighton, I suppose, what you could call a deserved lead. But before we come on to the goal itself, Joe, I just want to bring it right back to Bissouma, because I thought in that first half, Bissouma was having an absolute field day. I thought he was controlling that midfield really well. And he's the man that I think it was Rafinha. He was dilly-dallying on the ball. Bissouma comes in and takes the ball off him. What did you make of Bissouma's first half yesterday?
First of all, you talk about Rafinha, and that's a guy that you watch his performance yesterday against us. I was fearing playing against him, but you can very much tell that he's off in the summer. His head's elsewhere for sure. I mean, that must be really frustrating for Leeds fans, because obviously, as I say, he's probably their best player when he's on his day. But yeah, Bissouma did really well yesterday, and that's why I'm a little bit frustrated that we didn't add to that other goal that obviously Welbeck scored. As you say, unbelievable work before the goal as well from Bissouma. Does what he does best, dispossesses the man, and then he's in suddenly like 40 yards of space with no Leeds player around him, just darts forward. Welbeck's going to have the best time running at their defence. And I think it was Llorente that he beat to the ball. It's got to be the weakest defence I've ever seen. And that's why I'm so frustrated that we didn't score more, because they were just there for the taking. And if we had that same attacking prowess that we did against United, they would have been in serious trouble, and probably would have joined Southampton in the 9-0 club. And I'm not even exaggerating there. If we had the same prowess that we did against United, we would have absolutely rinsed them. And yeah, that's why it's just so hard to take that. Obviously, we didn't come away with all 3 points.
Yeah, hard to argue with that, mate. As I say, we tore them apart at times, and they just left runners like so high up the pitch. And as you say, playing 2 at the back against a team like us, who have just scored 3 and 4 in their previous 2 games, respectfully. It would just seem like a bit of a mad tactic, but that's Leeds all over, kamikaze defending. So, Chloe, let's talk about the goal then. It's that man Welbs again with a delightful chip. Tell us about your view on the goal.
Yeah, it was just it was needed really, and he just did so well with it, just to chip it like he did. he's so calm on the ball. And yeah, it was absolutely amazing to see it hit the back of the net. And I didn't think it had gone in at first from where I was sitting, but because it was quite a tight angle, I think. But he did so well with it. And yeah, great goal, and crowd went wild.
Fantastic. Yeah, it was a really nice goal, really well taken. Lovely ball from Basuma, down the channel as well. So, props to Basuma for the assist, and a lovely, lovely finish from Welbeck. It was unfortunately the only time Brighton did score in the game. And the reality is Leeds are a team fighting for their lives, aren't they, Dan? They are potentially, well, they're still in the mire. They can still go down. So it wasn't surprising at all, Dan, was it, to see that Leeds, the goal almost seemed to light a fire under their backsides, really, because, they came at us from then on out, didn't they?
Yeah, you can tell they were a team that were desperate to not to be relegated. For me, when the relegation battle basically is going to be between them or Burnley, but they don't want to be the ones in the bottom at the end. But yeah, you can sort of tell by how they play. The goals did they started to get a lot better in the game. Just sort of don't want to go in 2-0, 3-0 down, because otherwise the game's finished. They ain't going to get back into the game. Which really, on our sort of side, we should have really took the game more to them, and to try and get that extra goal, which obviously we did. Obviously, say all the chances that we had, but unfortunately, we didn't get that second goal. Which obviously then, for the second half, they're going to go in that dressing room and go, look, there's still one goal in it. We still can get that extra goal and try and save ourselves. In which really, we should have, let's say, we should have had that game done and dusted right before half time.
Yeah, shoulda, woulda, coulda. One could obviously argue, of course, that Leeds should have scored within the first 3 minutes. But at the end of the day, football's a game where you make your own luck. And if we had taken those chances, some of the stuff we're going to chat about a bit later in the show wouldn't need to be talked about. But anyway, we digress. Joe, as we've already just alluded to, Leeds, they came at us in that second half in particular, and towards the end of the first half as well, with a fantastic corner. And we owed a lot of that sort of survival, I suppose, for as long as we did without conceding, to Big Bob Sanchez, who admittedly fumbled the corner in the first 3 minutes, which led to the Leeds chance. But after that, he seemed to he was pulling out save after save after save. What did you make of some of the saves he was making yesterday?
Yeah, unbelievable performance from him, and I think he's been really, really good since probably Arsenal. I want to pinpoint, maybe before that, but yeah, he's delivered some outstanding performances, world class against United. If you were looking at that game as an outsider that didn't know football, and you told that person that the guy in the Brighton kit is the Spain number one and the other guy is nowhere near the Spain squad, you would probably have no grounds to disagree, because he has been absolutely phenomenal, and we will be very lucky to keep hold of him, to be honest, if he carries on this vein of form. We know that obviously he's a little bit inconsistent at times. If he keeps this form up, he can go to the very, very top. And yeah, he's unreal. And from our academy again, obviously I know we picked him up from a Spanish club or wherever he's come from, but he's come through our academy. We sent him out to the right loan moves in League 2, League 1, I think was the last one he went to. So yeah, it's props to them and props to him for carrying on this rich vein of form, and long may it continue.
Yeah, he's a phenomenal keeper. He's, as you say, he's got a bit of a mistake in him, but he's still a very young man. Just going back to the first half, I think it was the first half, from the corner, the save he made from the corner, where it's played into the edge of the box, and Cleach has a really nice shot, to be fair to him, and Sanchez dives across the goal and whacks the post. To be perfectly honest, I think I put in the group chat, has someone checked on the post to see if the post's okay? because obviously Big Bob is massive. Chloe, what did you make of his performance? Big Bob, I mean, what did you make of his performance yesterday? Did you? What was the away end tense when Sanchez was having to make save after save after save?
It was a little bit tense because it's they have a good enough shot. It can't be saved. And I always get nervous when the other team's attacking, but I feel like I trust him a lot more, and I think the defense do as well. Like some of these balls they play back to him that he just kicks out. Yeah, you can afford to trust him, and his kicking out is so good. And I love it when he claims the ball from corners because previous keepers haven't done that so much. So yeah, I think it's good to have a keeper that you really can rely on because that's sort of your last bit of your defense. And he's been very, very good. I would have probably said that he was man of the match yesterday, to be honest. He was phenomenal.
You wasn't talking about world-class Matty Ryan there, was you, Chloe, when you So
It's nice to have, as Chloe says, a goalkeeper that can come and claim crosses because, as she said, it puts so much, takes so much pressure off the defenders. And I think one argument you could make against Matthew Ryan that many fans did was he was quite short, 6 foot, not too short, obviously, but like a bit shorter. But it is worth remembering we also had Peter Brezovan, who was like 6'3", 6'4", and he couldn't claim a cross to save his life. So height doesn't mean everything. But yeah, I do agree with you, Chloe. His distribution seems to have gotten a lot better over the last few months. And I love it when he plays that sort of sweeper role. He's out of his box, pinging passes left, right, and centre, which is fantastic to see. And I'd be inclined to agree with you that he was man of the match because he kept us in it for as long as he did. I don't think, Dan, we'll come on to talk about the Welbeck chance in just a second, but it was coming, wasn't it, Dan? It was only a matter of time before Leeds, managed to score a goal.
Yeah, when they come out in the second half, you can see that whatever their manager came up with, said to them in half time, really lit a fire underneath them to go to battle through it. Rob did very well to keep us in the game as well, to save all those saves, do all those saves, and we're very lucky in that sense. But yeah, it was unfortunate the goal, especially the time of it as well, and it was sort of like we didn't really sort of threaten their side either. Really, we tried to do the counter attack, which historically, I think for us this season we haven't been great at. I think. I was watching on soccer. I think a soccer special on a Sunday. They saying, "Oh, they're trying to get on a counter attack." I started thinking, "Why are we doing that? We don't really have the players for a counter attack in football." But yeah, it's unfortunate, but at least as we said in the group chat after the game, at least we didn't lose in the end.
And sometimes that's what it's all about, just not losing. We will come on to like the ramifications of not winning after we've finished chatting about the game. But Joe, in true Brighton fashion, around 86 minutes, Welbeck misses an absolute sitter. And then 6-7 minutes later, Leeds equalise. First of all, Joe, do you think Welbeck should have scored? And secondly, how did you feel when that equaliser went in?
Yeah, he should have scored. Absolutely. And I blame this and only this. Maybe Danny Welbeck will thank me for blaming that. But yeah, it's one of those chances that when that falls to Danny Welbeck, of all people, you expect him to be reeling away and celebrating that. I was already up celebrating and I couldn't believe it when it dropped wide. When the equaliser went in, it's just inevitable, isn't it? My stream was a little bit behind because I was watching it, as Curtis said a few days ago, very, very legally, of course. And yeah, when I saw the goal and saw how it all panned out, it was just one of those where we were probably a little bit tired. We were defending a lot in that second half. And it just so happened that Leeds were just kept fighting and fighting, as you guys have already alluded to. They're fighting for their lives, and it was always going to go to the last second. And 6 minutes added on, you know what's going to happen. As Chloe said, the Leeds fans in the stadium were unbelievably loud. So I'll give them that. Like, even when we scored, I don't know how it was in the stadium, Chloe, but even when we scored, when I was watching it on the stream, I couldn't hear our fans celebrating. It was probably the groans of the Leeds fans, to be honest, drowning it out. But yeah, as I say, just inevitable and very frustrating.
Very much so. Chloe, to be sorry, let me start again. To concede in the 93rd minute, when you were there, was there just that sense of we've let 3 points drop? What was the crowd reaction like when that equaliser went in?
Yeah, it was very sort of downhearted. Because it's like we've created so many chances and we just haven't taken them, and it's cost us really. I was a bit worried that they'd actually go on and win the game because they were still attacking us at times. But yeah, it was just very disappointing because we had so many chances, and if we'd taken just one more of those, we would have won the game. So yeah, very, very disappointing to lose 2 points like that so late on in the game after leading for the majority of the game, really.
Yeah, I think it's the timing of the equaliser that got me rather than drawing. If you'd said to me, "Oh, point at Elland Road," I'd probably be mildly disappointed with that because of Leeds' form this season. They've conceded so many, so I would be disappointed. But to concede so late in the game was a proper gut punch for me. And then Dan, I don't know if you've seen it. I've struggled to find a replay of it properly, but Leeds wanted a penalty not long after. I don't know if you've seen any replays of that, mate. But yeah, Leeds were after a penalty that could have really ruined the day.
I'm not sure where. I can't think. I don't think even Match Today even showed it on theirs. I don't think. So I'm not sure where that comes from, but that would have ruined it for us.
In which case, just feel free to ignore me. But yeah, they were looking for a penalty. I think it was Joel Veltman. I think. Joe, you put your hand up. What do you want to say?
I saw it, and completely natural position for the hand to be in. That's why it wasn't given. But you can see why they were screaming for it, because I think Veltman's hand was like slightly away from his hip. But still, what the referee and VAR obviously adjudged to be a natural position. I think if it was given, you probably couldn't. It's one of those really weird, hard ones to call. Where I'm glad I'm not a referee and I don't work for VAR, because some of those calls are so minuscule and can be argued either way. And obviously wasn't that much of a claim because, as Dan says, Match of the Day didn't even talk about it. And we all know what they're like for pushing VAR's agenda.
Ooh, spicy indeed. Now, Chloe, you go to a lot of away games, and that mad props for that. Now, not losing to Leeds meant that we end the season with only losing 4 games away from home all season. Just how remarkable is that of a stat for a team like Brighton?
That's just incredible, and it's just been such an incredible season. My parents went with me for one away game this season, and it was one that we lost, so they're not allowed to go to away games anymore. But it's just been such an incredible season. And as you said, we lost to City, United, Villa, and Newcastle, that must be. Obviously, Newcastle was when we were going through a bit of a bad spell. They were good. United, City, both. Well, United got a few decisions. City is City. You kind of. But the teams that we've gotten stuff against Liverpool at Anfield, Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. It's just been an absolutely amazing season to follow this club away.
Yeah, and it is disappointing, as you say, not to come away with a win at Elland Road. However, I think we do need to recognise that it has been a fantastic away season this year for Brighton. I think we're still fourth in terms of teams on the road this season, which is fantastic. I did use the phrase teams like Brighton. You'd expect teams like Liverpool and City to go away from home and to pick up wins against the majority of the teams they face, to be fair. But I suppose it just shows you what a great job Potter and the players have done this season to reach that sort of level at away games, and the fact that we're even sometimes having to replicate that away experience for the players to feel a bit better about playing at the Amex, I think just speaks volumes. Now, talking of playing at the Amex, Joe, our final game of the season is against West Ham, and they just played City, and they did a pretty decent job. Now, we're going to chat about the race for the top 10 in just a bit. But Joe, how do you feel about playing West Ham for the final day of the season? Because we've got a good record against them.
Yeah, we do. But the thing is, West Ham have improved so much since we came into the Premier League and to now. That we're going to be playing a completely different side to what we have faced. Obviously, we drew at their stadium with Neil's incredible overhead kick. Hopefully, he can replicate that on the final day as well to beat the record of the Glenn Murray's top flight record for us. And I feel like that would be a nice way for him to end the season as well. It's been a really frustrating time for him, and a lot of fans, including me, have been quite reactionary to how he is at the end of the games. But I would love for him, if he is to be what some fans are alluding to, leaving, I would love for him to get a really nice send-off and to be able to score in front of that North Stand again, and we can all sing his song and give him a good one. But I'm not going to say too much about that because Chloe's getting quite sad about that, which is understandable. I hope he doesn't go because I do love Neil. I think he works hard. This wasn't even the question, Tom. Sorry, I've completely digressed. But yeah, just playing West Ham is always a tough task. David Moyes is a fantastic manager. And it's going to be a really tough one because obviously we're fighting for top 10. They're fighting for that last European space as well, or Europa League space. I think they've already confirmed Conference League. Correct me if I'm wrong. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting final day, and I will be checking my phone to see who's going to go down and who's going to clinch that title, because that's going to go to the final day as well.
Yes, Chloe, for your money's worth, who do you think will go down this season?
Watford and Norwich, I reckon. For some reason, it's between Leeds and Burnley, I think, really, and Everton. There's still so many teams that could go down, but I reckon I want it to be Leeds, but I'm thinking it's going to be Burnley.
Ooh, yeah, I should have rephrased that question properly, shouldn't I? Who's going to go? Well, obviously Norwich and Watford. But Dan, who for you is going to clinch that final space? Everton, Leeds, or Burnley?
For me, I really, really wanted Burnley to go down, but it's going to be in between. I can't see Everton. I think their game midweek. I think after how they played, I know they had their 2 red cards and they had the 2 red cards. I think they've still got enough. I think possibly to still get that one win. I think it's literally that one win to actually stay away from between Burnley and Leeds. Leeds have to go down. I think Burnley. I think they're more wanting to stay because that's where they want to be. Leeds think it's their given right, in which, to be honest with you, if you play rubbish, you play rubbish. You go down for that. Not because you deserve to. Not because you're a big club. You have to show and work for it.
You do have to work for it. No one has a God-given right to be in this league. Everton have got 2 games left to play. Burnley have 2 games left to play, and Leeds have 1. Joe, will the most massivest club in the history of the universe, Leeds United, will they go down, Joe?
Yes, they will. And I can't wait for it because obviously we've all seen. There's one guy on Twitter, I think his Twitter handle's Brightonian. For the last week, he's been retweeting all of the obnoxious, idiotic Leeds fans that were tweeting us about the whole Ben White saga and feeling like they were entitled to our own player. And it's been absolutely delightful to read. I wish we beat them because it would have given me more of a right to say what I'm about to say. But they are the most arrogant, entitled fan base you will ever see. And it's also fueled by Sky Sports having their little love fest for Leeds as well. Just feeds their arrogance. They're talking about this Marco Bielsa football genius. He's gone. They're saying, oh, if we kept him, we would have been safe. We would have been fine. No, he played kamikaze football at times. You would have been down a long time ago. You probably would have been down before Watford. So don't give me that. And the way they celebrated drawing against what they claim, little old Brighton, bloody celebrating, honestly, like they've won the Champions League 6 times in a row. The arrogance for me is just an absolute joke. And I cannot wait to see their faces when they get relegated back to the Championship where they belong. And I hope financially they get hit so they get relegated to League One as well, because the arrogance is disgusting. There you go. I've said it. Sorry.
Joe woke up this morning and he chose violence. Free Ben White. That's what I'm saying. Free Ben White. Yeah, it's I don't have any issues with Leeds as a club, but as a fan base, my God, they're arrogant. Well, many of them are arrogant. I wish I had tweets to read you from some of their fans from last summer. The arrogance about Ben White and how Bielsa apparently discovered him, and how going to Brighton would ruin Ben White's career, and how Potter was just a glorified PE teacher, and how Leeds weren't going to suffer from second season syndrome. They were going to be fighting for the Champions League. Go on, Joe, go.
Glorified PE teacher, Graham Potter. Look at Marco Bielsa. He is the cover star of glorified PE teachers. What has he done in his career that gives him any right to be, the savior of football? Look at the football we're playing. Yeah, maybe in the Championship, but that's the Championship. And you came up in a season where that was probably the weakest that it's ever been. Go back to the Championship now. They will struggle to even get playoffs.
Quite possibly. I mean, the Championship is really strong. But yeah, some of the tweets, I'm going to try and find one. Because some of the stuff that were being said by Leeds fans. Here's one. Lads, I shit you not, there are some Brighton fans that think Potter is a better coach than Bielsa. Unreal. Well, Bielsa's gone. You're on the verge of being relegated.
We're 10th in the league. They are a point away, maybe one game away from being relegated back to the Championship, and Bielsa is the best manager out of Graham Potter. Oh my God. The ignorance towards real football is just, it's mind-blowing. They are so, they've got their white tinted glasses on and all the world's so wonderful. Everybody loves Leeds. Everyone's going to pander to what we want. Oh, don't. Can we move? I'm going to get angry. So can we move on?
Yes, let's swiftly move on, because I don't want to give Leeds fans the time of day, because that's what they want. They want the spotlight on them, and I'm going to take it away now. And now we're going to chat about maths. Now, I'm a teacher, so I know some maths. I can do maths quite well, actually. We have a week left of the season. Brighton can still mathematically finish anywhere between 8th and 14th. Okay. Now, yesterday, if we had won, we would not have been able to finish any lower than 11th. So you can see what those points mean. It's fine margins. It's fine margins down the bottom, and it's fine margins for this middle pack. So I'm just going to read to you the scenarios that can happen for the next game, for the next week, and then we'll chat about that West Ham game. So basically, for Brighton to finish in the top 10, if Brighton beat West Ham, so this is scenario 1, if we beat West Ham, we still need Palace to drop points. Palace play Everton and Man U. So Palace can still match our points tally even if we do beat West Ham, but their goal difference is better than ours. So they could pip us to that top 10, which would be gutting. Now, what we saw yesterday with Leeds is that Everton hopefully will be similar in that they're fighting for their lives. So we can hope that Everton do us a favour, Man U do us a favour, and we won't have to worry. But it just goes to show you how important a win yesterday could have been. So if we beat West Ham, we still need Palace to drop points along the way. But otherwise, no other team below us can catch us. Okay. If we draw, that would take us to 49 points. We would need Brentford. If Brentford won, they could still win because they're below us on 46. But they can't score more than 2 goals. Because if they win their game, they would also finish on 49. But if they scored more than 2 goals, they'd have a better goal difference than us. Palace can win a game. That's it. They can only get 3 points. Otherwise, they'll overtake us. And we need Villa and Newcastle to drop points. It's mad that Newcastle are even in this equation. I don't think Newcastle can finish top 10. It's just that they're still in the equation. Even if we lose to West Ham, we can still finish inside the top 10. But we basically need everyone to lose. So Brentford would need to lose their final game against Leeds. Palace would need to lose both their games. And Villa and Newcastle would need to be dropping points as well. So that's for us to finish inside the top 10 generically. I've also done the maths to see if we'd finish 9th and 8th and 14th as well. Basically, we just can't lose and we need everyone else to lose around us. The best case scenario is 8th. I'll quickly run that through with you. Everything else, you'll just have to, So for us to finish 8th, we need to beat West Ham. We need all the other teams around us to drop points. We need Leicester to lose both their games. And we need Wolves to lose against Liverpool with a goal swing of 2. So Wolves need to concede 2 or we need to score 2 for us to finish 8th. Bit more dreary. We could still finish 14th if we lost to West Ham and all the teams below us won their remaining fixtures. It's mad to think that even Newcastle could be still finish above us, but they play Arsenal and Burnley. So, there's so many different equations and so many different scenarios and hypotheticals that we could be chatting about. But the important thing is it's still in our hands. It's still in our hands. We need to go to West Ham. We need to go to the Amex against West Ham. We need to believe that we can get a result. Now, Chloe, as Joe has said, West Ham are playing really well. They just put 2 goals past City at the weekend. How do you see the game against West Ham panning out?
I think it'll be quite a close game. I'm a bit nervous because they are a very good side and obviously they're still fighting for Europa League up there. So I'm not too sure how it'll go. I think it'll be quite evenly matched. Just hope that we can take some of our chances and score early on and score a couple. And it's in our hands really, and I just hope that we can get a win. But I've got a feeling it'll be a draw again.
I mean, I said on the group chat, I've been watching Brighton for so long, I'm convinced we're going to finish 14th. Many people would label me as a pessimist, but it's within me to always look at the negatives or the worst case scenario with Brighton instead of the best case scenario. Dan, bit of a different question to you. Would you be disappointed if we didn't finish inside the top 10, or would even finishing somewhere like 11th still be a real positive for Brighton and Hove Albion?
I think for a lot of people, they would be like, they'll class the season as success because of the points total. We've broken the record for that and everything else. But I do remember early on in the season that a lot of them the players were saying in their interviews, going, our aim this year is top 10. So for me, I would think myself, like, if that was our aim to start off the season, was to get into the top 10, really, then if we finish 11th, 12th, I think even with the sort of bad patch we had, even though the season's been so good, I still would say finishing outside the top 10 would probably class us as sort of maybe a little bit of a failure of a season. That's my own personal opinion, but because obviously that's because what they said themselves, they want top 10, they all want to play for in the top 10. But I can see though we've had a good season. I mean, it'll be the cherry on the cake, cherry on top to basically to finish in the top 10. But for me, I wouldn't be disappointed. I think I'd still be happy to try and feel all the positives, but still in the back of my mind saying, we should have finished top 10 really, especially if that was our aim to start off with.
Joe, you shook your head in there, mate. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think anything below 12th would be a failure for me. I feel like you're right, Dan, what they're saying about we want to finish in the top 10, but that's not necessarily, I don't feel it's Tony Bloom's aim for this season. I feel like he was setting out a plan to say, look, we can be a top 10 club. And we've shown that this season because at points we've been absolutely unreal. If our form has been consistent this season, we would honestly be talking about us finishing 6th or even 5th. That's how good we've been at points this season. But for me, still, with the budget that we're competing with, the teams above us, the players they have, in and around this pack with like Villa, Leicester, even Newcastle, obviously now with Eddie Howe in charge and the money that they've got, whether you think that's right or wrong, we are competing with some serious clubs here. And if we finish below Villa or Leicester or West Ham or Wolves, then fine. For me, that's not a failure. If we finish below Palace, on the other hand, then for me it is, because my aim this season is to hopefully actually finish above them for once and carry that on, and next season again go one better. If we finish 12th and Palace finish 13th, great. The next season we finish 10th and they finish 11th, great. I'm not basing our success solely on finishing above Palace, but these are the benchmarks we have to set ourselves, because Palace, for how much we slate them, for the budget they're working with, they've done seriously well. Vieira has done a great job with them. Obviously, they've got in some class loan players like Conor Gallagher. I'm not going to give them too much praise. But these are the benchmarks that we have to be fighting for, and to finish above them with a similar budget to us would be a success for me.
It's difficult, isn't it? Because as you rightfully say, Joe, we won't splash the sort of cash that Villa and Newcastle will. I mean, Newcastle, for all the sort of like romanticized, oh, Eddie Howe, isn't he wonderful? They spent 95 million in January. Give that money to Burnley, Leeds, even Norwich, they'd probably not be in the position where they are now. So I do think, the whole Eddie Howe to Newcastle thing is very much used as a smokescreen to ignore the fact that Newcastle has spent the best part of £100 million. So it's no surprise, really, that they're, on the way up at the table. Same with Villa. They've spent a lot of money. They've just made Coutinho's move permanent. And that's going to cost a lot of money, in wages as well. So we're up against some really financial big hitters. For my own 2 cents, we are where we are because we deserve to be there. Have we been fortuitous with Leicester and Everton almost, falling off the face of the earth in terms of where they normally would expect to be? Yes, we have, because normally you'd expect Leicester and Everton to be within that top 10 argument. Leicester have only just overtaken us, and they're only ahead of us at the moment on goal difference, but they've still got a game in hand on us. I would be really disappointed not to finish in the top 10, really disappointed. Not with Potter, not with the players, but just on a general level of, if only, more than anything, if only we'd beaten Leeds, if only we'd beaten Leeds at home, if only we had scored against Norwich.
Yeah, but for me, Tom, doesn't that make next season even more exciting? Like, let's say we finish 12th or 11th, and you're well within your rights for your opinion, saying that you would be disappointed that we don't finish top 10. But then that's another aim that we've got for next season, with some really exciting players coming back. Another season with Graham Potter to put his philosophies across. I'm sure the players now that we have know it, but we've got some, as I say, lone players coming back that need to learn the way that we play football. And we've got some really exciting players as well. And then to go again next season and improve that home form, because that's all the key is to be in a top 10 side here. Our away form is spectacular, as we've already bless you, Chloe, as we've already pointed out, and it's that home form, because it's been atrocious this season. And at the start of the season, I was thinking, okay, we're doing all right. Obviously, we got the win against Watford, that really tight win against Leicester as well. But it's just been too many draws, and that's really exciting for me, because turn these draws into wins, and we are going to be in dreamland for sure.
Oh yeah, mate. There's no I don't want to preface it. I don't think it'll be a failure to finish outside the top 10, not in the slightest. But as I say, I would be disappointed. Don't get me wrong, I'd be excited for next season, because I think, oh yeah, let's one up it. But I think finishing inside the top 10, that's when you're going to more likely to convince the likes of Trossard, Basuma to stay. Because you say, look, we're a top 10 side now. Next time we're going to push on. We're going to push for Europa. That's how you get players to stay. That's how you get new players in. Because, as we've just alluded to, we're not the kind of club who's going to go and splash the cash. We're not going to be paying ridiculous amounts in wages. But what we can offer is an exciting manager, exciting future. But as they say, actions speak louder than words. So yeah, definitely wouldn't be a failure. But I personally would be quite disappointed. But if anything, that shows just how far we've come as a club. When me, a fan of 25 years, is saying he's disappointed not to finish inside the top 10 of the Premier League. And there you have it. Right then, just before we sign off, guys, can I get your scores on the doors for West Ham, please? Joe, what do you think the score is going to be, mate?
I'm going to go for a 3-2 win for Brighton. I think there's going to be quite a few goals. I think we've all got goals in us, especially the last before Leeds, the last two performances, scoring 7. I think our home fortunes are going to be turning towards the end of this season as well. And yeah, let's go for a 3-2 win with Danny Welbeck, brace, and as I said, I want Neil to replicate his overhead kick. So yeah, we'll go with a Neil Morpay last-minute winner.
Fantastic. Chloe, what do you think the scores on the doors, please? Scores on the doors.
2-2.
Yep, draw. I think it's probably the bookies' favourite as a draw. As I say, West Ham's record against us, I think they've beaten us in the Premier League. Dan, what are your score predictions, please, my friend?
I'd love to say a win, but I don't know. I'll go the same result as last time, 2-2. Get a nice Welbeck Trossard goal in there, and then have a nice day after it.
Cool. I'm going to go with 2-1 to Brighton. I'm going to go Trossard and Mopé, last-minute winner. And let's just hope that in between now and that game, some other clubs like Everton do us a favour. Right then, guys, thank you so much for joining us today. If you haven't already, please consider sharing and subscribing. It really does help the channel out. So thank you for your time, guys. It's been an absolute pleasure to chat to you. I look forward to chatting to you after the West Ham game. Goodbye, yellow shirt. May you never darken our door again. Take it care, guys. Take it care. Take it easy, guys. Have a fantastic evening, day, afternoon, morning, wherever you are, whenever you are. See you again next time. Peace.